So hello and welcome again everybody. It is Believingbruce, the channel where we help you understand better what's going on inside your head so you can think, feel and act a little bit better. Health, well-being, performance, psychology, anything to do with the head and heart. If you're interested in this is the channel for you. Subscribe below, give us a thumbs up, leave your comments. Really interested to hear where you're from. Believingbruce is going global in the not even year that we've been going here, so thanks very much for all the love, opinions, comments and just general interest that people seem to have in psychology and body language. So it has come around. It has come around. As a fight fan, I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen between Jake Paul and Gib. Obviously my channel, to be authentic and transparent, which is really important. It owes a lot to YouTube boxing because essentially the body language video assessment that I'd done on KSI and Logan Paul was where my channel started. I think that's nearly got 400,000 views now, so myself, thank you very much YouTube boxing. Now I'm obviously interested from a psychological perspective what's going on inside the heads, because what we're hearing is, Jake is by far the best boxer of the Paul brothers, something that I'll question later on in the video. There's no way that Gib can outbox him. Look at the shape of Jake compared to the shape of Gib, but nobody's talking about the mental game, people. This is where Believingbruce goes. This is where I give you that angle, just so you might pause and check your thought process based on biology. Because remember people, biology does not lie. So I'm going to look at some data that's out there about why Jake Paul could lose this fight. Why he could lose the fight. And what I've noticed about Jake Paul is that he is what's known as a high control individual. Jake loves to have control of everything that he is associated with. Projects that he's involved in, relationships that he's got, even sporting events like this. It's really important for him to have, or at least to feel like he's got control of the situation. And remember, this is not a bad thing. I'm not saying he's bad for being a high control individual. I'm being authentic and transparent and just pointing out the truth. So imagine in Jake's universe, he is the sun and everything rotates around him. He's the one with the gravity. He's the one with the energy, admittedly inside Jake Paul's head. And also remember, him and his brother had a stratospheric rise to fame and adulation. The reward center within his brain, the mesolimbic pathway, oxytocin, dopamine, that has been flooded. He's had adulation, he's had fans, he's had the views, he's had the money. So being in control has helped this gentleman. So it's fair to say Jake Paul likes to try and dominate situations. And again, what we're hearing here is, but look at the physical state of Jake Paul compared to the physical state of Gib. Now again, as a fight fan myself, started going boxing when I was 10 years old. I know for a fact there are some non-chiseled, non-fit looking fighters out there, boxers, MMA fighters, whatever you want to call them, that can certainly pack a punch, can knock people out, can outwork people. So just because they haven't got a six-pack, just because they're not chiseled, please people, please brothers and sisters, do not get fooled by what somebody looks like. Now in the boxing arena, you've got an example by Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew never got chiseled, however, world champion. Go to the MMA side, you've got Fedor Emelianenko. Yeah, he was never chiseled, but boom, he could knock people out. Again, I'm aware that some people who are watching this video might not know who those two previous athletes are, so just Google them, but you'll see what I mean. And again, it's not that hard for somebody to cut weight and actually get down into fighting shape. It's not. Obviously, the diet is one of the keys, but lucky for you, we've got somebody from Cumbria who has got the diet that if you follow, do you want to be ripped? Do you want to be shredded? Do you want to look like an athlete? Do you want to be a world champion? Then just follow this guy's diet.
8 o'clock in the morning, I'll have fish and a rice cake. At 10 o'clock, I'll have fish. At 12 o'clock, I'll have fish and a rice cake. At 2 o'clock, I'll have fish. At 4 o'clock, just before I train, I'll have fish and a rice cake. I'll train. I'll have me fish. I'll come home, have some more fish with a rice cake, and then have some fish before I go to bed.
Was that rice and what was the other one? Rice and what? So yes, the diet is important, the training's important, but the mental side again. So let's talk about Jake Paul. Some factors cerebrally, psychologically, that may impact his performance, because he might be creating a reality now that the fight is near. We've got a critical date. It's a bit like when women get pregnant. Is that 9 months out? Okay, that seems a long time, and then eventually, I'll speak from my own experience, it's like I was going along with the flow. And it was only like, when it happened, I went, boom, this is the critical date. I'm now going to be a dad. I had 9 months to realise this. But the critical date looms and all of a sudden, stuff gets real. And Jake could be, based on the facts that we've got, possibly playing a story within his head, because let's face it, according to the stats and everybody else, is that his power on YouTube is waning. And there could be an argument, there could definitely be an argument that he's been pressured into this fight. That Gib has pressured him, that the public has pressured him, that the YouTube community has pressured it into this fight. A fight that maybe he didn't want, which could be an irritation. And he's also aware that he needs this fight if he wants to get the match with JJ, if he wants to avenge his brother's defeat. Not only that, but you've got Logan who lost. And if Jake loses, where do they go? There has been brothers, there could have been brothers, there never was brother. All of this stuff, 1, 2, 3, 4, can start to create a reality in someone's head that may or may not impact their performance come fight night. And that's it. I mean, if he loses to Gib, where does he go? It's like Usain Bolt when he won the world record. Who remembers who came second? I don't. So there is so much more for Jake to lose to create a reality of pressure than Gib. Gib seems to just be coming to fight. He's appreciative, you know, like as he says in his own words, it's like, I can't believe I'm actually fighting in Miami. For Gib, it is a win-win situation. There's people out there who aren't expecting him to win, although I had a look at the odds and some are actually favouring Gib. But when you look at all the data, the factual data that we can see, admittedly we can't see inside the fighters' heads, but there's a mountain of pressure of why Jake needs this more than Gib. And also, Jake will be reconnecting with the KSI Logan Paul fight. There's a part of the brain called the hippocampus. It's where the memories are stored. And we associate feelings with memories. So when he's seen his brother lost and he was in the change room afterwards having a bit of a back and forth with Shannon Briggs, if that kicked off, I could only see one winner on that occasion, mate, to be fair. Then he's probably created stories about he wants to avenge this. He can see himself. Again, visualization is a powerful tool. But he will be creating this story, which again, it's all of these things that can be added to the pressure that Jake Paul is putting upon himself. And all of this could play into Gib's hands. Gib is a very come forward fighter and he's got a big engine and he's not scared of getting hit. But when you look at the two, it's like they haven't really got any form to go off. It's not like, you know, you're opening the page and have a look at the horse race and whatever it may be. When I was with True Geordie for the Conor McGregor and Cowboy fight, there was form there and I made a prediction video which was absolutely spot on. In case anybody missed it, here's me just summing up at the end of my prediction video that I put out before the fight. Now it's not to make me feel under pressure, but what he's doing is feeling something in his head that is raising his emotional baseline. He's having that adrenal dump. Put all that together and the fact that he is a slow starter, put that Conor McGregor is a fast starter, and the data indicates that we could see a brutal KO by Conor in the first round. But again, there is because there was form to go off. You knew Conor McGregor's form. He time and time again had displayed the same type of fast start. You knew Cerrone's form, time and time again, he had displayed the slow start. But also there was other bits of data that put it all into the pot, even a video by Cowboy Cerrone saying that he had a habit, a ritual if you will, of being sick and getting nervous and everything, which is probably why he needed the first round to kick out that adrenaline, get it out his legs so he could start moving and reacting. Bang, there you had a load of data that you could make a decision on. Also, I must say thank you to True Geordie and Lawrence for having me on the live stream. I really enjoyed it. It was actually good just for me to be able to sit around other people who are interested in fighting and have the banter and crack. And if you haven't seen a True Geordie knockout live stream, then you're, I don't know, just watch it next time. It's fantastic. Give the big man some support. But there was form there for Conor McGregor. There's not form for Jake Paul, for Gib. There is nothing. So all you can go is the bits of data that are available, and again, they're very speculative, they're very fragmented. It's like trying to put a picture together, trying to create a jigsaw, and you've only got a quarter of the pieces. So Jake's fight against Deji, I just had a look at that before, and there's a couple of things here that I think if he doesn't change this is where someone with Gib's mentality, with Gib's engine, with Gib's fighting style, in a pro fight, remember it's not an amateur, we're not point scoring here, it can be a grinder, could absolutely play into Gib's hand. First thing, you must give recognition, Jake Paul is good coming forward. If he can manhandle, again this is just going from Deji, if he can manhandle that opposition, he is good. He will let them punches flow. And you can't disagree with that because that is what the data says. Very good at coming forward. However, there's some things that you could exploit here. He holds his hands very low. Both like the sort of left, it's almost like a Carl Froch jab. If you haven't heard of Carl Froch, Google him, YouTube him. You know, big warrior, but his left hand was always low. George Groves as well, to be fair. George Groves was like, it was an up type jab. Yeah, now Jake Paul hasn't got that skill, but his left hand's low, and also the right hand starts to rotate around here, which means that this area is open, something that Gib's camp, I'm sure, would be aware of. But then also, what I noticed is that every time Deji attacked, Jake Paul couldn't really defend. It was this sort of leaning back, and again, this is the, it's a huge, beautiful opening, just to either one hand, straight hand, one down the channel, is that when people are moving back and they've got the chin in the air, this is what Jake Paul displays. Now, hopefully, at least I'm thinking, that Sugar Shane Mosley, one of the greats of boxing, will have done something about this. Jake is not Sugar Shane Mosley. So we will see how this plays out. But also, Jake just moves in straight lines. He doesn't move off the line. He doesn't spin and turn away. He doesn't use the angles. Every time that Deji comes forward, see Jake, he just goes back in that straight line. There's no turning off. There's no moving. There's nothing that interrupts that pattern. So because of those low hands, and he doesn't react well to when someone's moving forward, a bit like Logan Paul. Logan Paul did not like to get hit. Brothers and sisters, that is a primary thing of a boxer, that you've got. Nobody likes to get hit, but you should be able to deal with it. And again, you could see Logan Paul couldn't deal with that. That's no cast on Logan Paul's character, by the way. I'm just offering a fact. So the fact that Gib is come forward, the fact that he is relentless, the fact that he is very unorthodox, I'm sure. I think Gib's hands move and then his brain registers like, what just happened there? Gib doesn't even know himself what he's going to be doing. Put all this together with his relentless engine coming forward, then it could be a very interesting fight. And for me, a critical moment within the fight could be if Gib scores a knockdown. If he scores a really hard punch. Something to just shock Jake Paul. And what I mean by that is at that particular moment there, stuff gets real. If you've never been hit with 10-ounce gloves, or even in the cage, if you've ever done any MMA fighting, you probably don't realise what it's like to really take a powerful punch. If you're not built for it, if you're not conditioned to it, or a mixture of the two, it can really impact the way you think and feel. It can put fear into you. It can make some people sick. And at that particular moment, if that does land, I wonder, because of the pressure that Jake must be putting on himself in order to have the next phase of the Paul brothers, in order to have something after this fight, will we see his resilience? Will he come through that particular point? Or will he react negatively towards it? Will his whole world cave in? Because I will be looking for a moment when someone quits. It's very easy to see if you know what you're looking for. It's that moment when you start telling yourself, right, I don't want to be here. I can't do it. I can't win. There's different hormone regulation, different energy output, but you physically see it in someone's body when they don't want to be there, when they've accepted defeat. So if Gib does come forward, if he does adopt that unorthodox style, and I'm sure his team's been working on the, just finessing some of those certain points, with those low hounds, with Gib hoying their mooks, with him a bit like Ruiz and Joshua #1, sticking on his chest, not letting him get his range, making sure you're always on the front foot, because that's where Jake Paul seems to be the most uncomfortable. I think we could have a really good fight here. I think we could have an absolute barnstormer here. And again, it's just worth questioning this narrative, this rhetoric that I keep hearing about Jake is the better boxer of the Pauls. Now, I've watched Jake's fight with Deji. Again, there may be another fight that I haven't seen, admittedly. But against Deji, is that what we're building this narrative on? Is that what we're building this rhetoric on? That he's the best boxer? Actually, I'd be fantastic if I was fighting a midget or someone who was smaller than me. And all the sparring I've seen, or all the boxing little snippets that are out there, is that, just to see he's so much better than Logan Paul, the data that I'm aware of anyways, doesn't suggest that. But again, because there is no form, I'm just going off little snippets of data. If I was a betting man, I definitely would not be putting a bet on this fight. And if I did, it would be speculative, because there's simply not enough data to go on. But what that does seem is there seems a hell of a lot for Jake to lose compared to Gib. And you compare the fighting styles, Gib could be Jake's bogeyman. Everything about Gib's style is not suited to Jake. Now, Jake could be fantastic. He could have improved shed loads under Sugar Shane. We will find out on fight night. He's a big guy, he's an athletic guy. If you can turn that into power, if you can turn that into tactics, if you can utilise his advantages to negate the pressure that Gib will bring, then he might turn it round. But that is the beauty of a fight. But from a psychological perspective, I'm interested in when we get that critical moment. If Jake is put under the cosh, if Gib floors him, how does he react? And I will be looking for that moment that either one of them give up. And based on the data, I can't see it being Gib.
And I'll tell you, honestly, I will love it if we beat them. Love it.
But we never know. the occasion could overawe the two fighters. You could have that adrenal dump, you could have that crash, and all of this could go out the window. So again, just a quick video to get us started on fighting. I'm really looking forward to the weigh-in. I'll be watching the body language, what's going on. Not just of the fighters, but of the parties as well, about the trainers, because that can give a lot. So remember to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, tell me where you're from below, but also your opinions. What are you noticing between the two boxers that maybe I have missed out? But more importantly, believe in Bruce. Remember to be kind to yourselves and each other.